Next up for UFC Vegas 49, we got Alejandro Pérez and Jonathan Martinez. And a part of me feels like this is like a passing of the torch to the next generation in some ways. But, Alejandro Perez, you think about where he's come from, the Latin America tough season one. Like, it's just such an incredible story that nobody really talks about, but he's back. I mean, taking a guy like Jonathan Martinez, who, outside of that Davy Grant knockout, I feel like he's been very much looking like a top tier quality fighter. Prospect wise, he's definitely in the 99th percentile, if you will. But the way I see his footwork and his patience, the counter striking, those are all things I absolutely love. The chin, we've obviously seen some issues with that, but you look at the nitty gritty, right? In his last couple fights, we've really seen the evolved version. I really like that he defended all 6 takedowns against Ziad. You look at the knockout that he got of Lou with the knees up the middle. He really likes to time that knee, especially for guys who like to shoot. He kind of fires that knee from the back leg up the middle pretty hard, and he's had a lot of success with it. But going into Alejandro Perez, and you think about some of the finishes we've even seen from him, that arm bars and just a lot of pace from a guy who brings that Mexican style of fighting in a big way. That's the part where I'm really trying to size up these guys, because I really believe that Jonathan Martinez could very easily be a big favorite here. He's the bigger name and stuff like that, but I'm like rubbing my legs out of nervousness right now. But you think about Alejandro Perez and what he's accomplished and the fighters he's seen, it's hard for me to go against him as a favorite in some ways. But I think that Perez's level changing ability is going to be what dictates this fight. If he can get Jonathan to the ground, force him to work for some get-ups, and even maybe land some of his own power shots, I think that we've seen Perez do pretty much everything from an MMA's perspective in a fairly good skilled way. So I think that this is going to be competitive no matter what. I think that judging by me picking Perez as a favorite, or this fight being closer to a pick'em, I can see that either guy could have some good juice on them in this fight from a betting line perspective. But I think that Perez has all of the qualities of a guy who, durable, can take the fight to the ground if he needs to, force Jonathan Martinez to fight from the bottom, because I think those fighters tend to have the most problems there. And if you can force them to work off their back, use up the energy for things like that, it will put them off their guard. And I think right now Perez is in that position. So I'm actually going Perez as a favorite here. I think that Vegas must see some kind of an angle there for Perez to still have it, if you will. I wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan Martinez is the favorite in this sense. The boxing range is so good. You talk about those kicks from the outside. That's where I can see him having so much success, which is why Perez's ability to get in close is really what's going to dictate this fight. So let's take a look at the lines we've got here. Alejandro Perez plus 188. Jonathan Martinez minus 250. Some places plus 175, minus 225. Bet 365 specifically showing plus 200 for Alejandro Perez and minus 250 for Jonathan Martinez. So I was relatively off with that one, but I do think that Perez is now in the dogger pass conversation here. I think that he's able to handle that counter-striking style, that slower pace. I think he can pick things up if he needs to. So I think this fight's a lot closer than Vegas is allowing you to believe, but we'll only be able to find out on Saturday, so stay tuned for that. Final picks, as always, Instagram and Twitter. Looking forward to it. See you then.